Will I do an intro? I don't know. We'll figure this out. Minecraft is probably the most popular video game ever made. The 2011 creation has been purchased roughly 250 million times over its decade-plus long history. There's massive sections of YouTube dedicated solely to Minecraft content, from tutorials to streamers like Dream, but that's far from the only place you will see Minecraft seeping in to popular YouTubers. People like Mr. Beast and Darman utilize Minecraft content constantly. Commentators like Jarvis Johnson, Nick is not green, Danny Gonzalez, Curtis Connor, I'm definitely missing some in there as well, played Minecraft on their channel, have done separate Twitch streaming as well. Leftist streamer Hassan Piker has dipped his toe in the water of Minecraft streaming. Even far-right fascists like Ben Shapiro have milked the Minecraft well. There is no segment of internet culture where you will not find some people who have dedicated a lot of time to Minecraft. While the creator of Minecraft, Marcus Persson, has been distanced from the current property thanks to his milquetoast far-right fascist politics, I've never seen much interrogation of the game itself, what its structures, mechanics encourage, discourage, and ultimately what political ideologies the structures of the game's default survival mode give credibility. Because here's the thing, Minecraft has politics, and they aren't particularly good. Before I dive into the analysis, I want to give a quick shout out to Daniel Torres, who published this video. I'll throw a link in the description. I'll try to throw one on screen here as well when I play around with editing. It's called The Subliminal Politics of Minecraft. It's about 3 years old. And I want to give him a lot of credit because it's literally the only video I've been able to find that even attempts to answer this question. He turns to the canon of philosophy to analyze Minecraft's take on modernism and decline. He makes some interesting insights too into talking about, like, you know, the game emphasizes meat eating and tying that to the game's creator coming from a Western, primarily meat eating culture, things like that. However, I think he focuses his video more on analyzing the politics that create the game and sort of explain why the game is the way it is, rather than what I'm most interested in, which is the politics the game itself encourages or the game itself has within it. If you are to take the politics of the game, as we'll get into, what would that ideology be? How would that look in the real world? Do we have corollaries elsewhere in history? So anyway, I want to build off what Daniel Torres did. I think I'm going to add a new element to this, but I don't want to necessarily take away from what he did as well. So I recommend you check that out as well. Again, I'll throw that link in the description. But as for my analysis, here we go. 19th century Scottish intellectual Thomas Carlyle once wrote, "Universal history, the history of what man has accomplished in this world, is at the bottom the history of the great men who have worked here." That sentence is the foundation of the great man theory of history, for which Carlyle is largely credited as the founder or first person to, spell out this specific way of thinking. History, in Carlyle's terms, to put it simply, could be explained by looking at the single great figures of a time and space. Unsurprisingly, the folks who most avidly subscribe to Carlyle's very overly simplistic approach would tell you that all you need to know about history is the stories of a few very powerful, usually rich white dudes at the expense of everyone else throughout the geographic and various stratas of the world. Clearly, as historians and social scientists have come to note in the more than century since Carlyle lived and died, this way of collective storytelling generally just reinforces whatever power structures already exist in the world, since it usually boils down to creating a kind of superhero story to justify what a person in power did to acquire and maintain the power that they have. What Carlyle called history was really an exercise in creating legends, and perhaps for that reason, many video games fall into a great man approach to storytelling. Minecraft, though, in particular, reinforces a great man view of the world because it is a game that so clearly demonstrates that no one is a peer to the player. While I'll elaborate on the other beings in the game later, It's worth starting by just looking at how the player gains new information in the game. Crafting new items is understandably the most important mechanic in the game. Having the necessary materials and then placing them in the correct formation to make whatever it is you're trying to make is kind of what this game is about. But Minecraft does not force players to learn through trial and error. There isn't even a tutorial with another non-player character to show you the ropes. When you collect the necessary materials to make an item, the recipe for how to make that item automatically appears in your recipe book. Your recipes were not passed down from your parents, taught to you by a teacher, or shared through a community's collective knowledge. No, the recipes were innate. They are automatic. They imply that the player always knows everything they can do with the items at their disposal. There is no need to learn. If you have the materials, you inherently know what you can make with them and how to do it. In Minecraft, the player never needs to interact with another character to do anything. And in turn, the other beings are framed as just that, the other. Wiktionary's definition of othering reads, the process of perceiving or portraying someone or something as essentially alien or different. By this definition, Minecraft actively others the player from every living character in the game. The reason no one is your peer in Minecraft is because the game has done nothing to humanize the non-player characters in its close to 13-year history. While you are a nomad bound to nothing, all the other villagers live in small agrarian communities. Villagers make noises akin to the adults in Peanuts cartoons.
Hey guys, how's it going?
However, unlike the animated series, the protagonist never has an opportunity to speak back. It is impossible to exchange words with a villager. It is impossible to ever speak their language. They don't even have names for the player to learn. In fact, the only way a player can interact with another human character in the game is in one of two ways: exchanging emeralds in a trade, exerting violence against them. Villagers are impotent to respond to the player's actions. The only purpose for villages in the game seems to be to provide an easy place to find a bed and some other useful items early in a survival mode game. You can steal everything that villagers create and have. They are not capable of harming the player. They are not capable of resisting the player in any way. The protagonist of the game, you as the player, are in an ostensibly foreign land where many communities already exist, and you can waltz right in and pretty much do whatever you please. And the humans there will do nothing in response to it. This uncomfortably parallels the way popular American history has framed European colonization of the Americas by hiding the atrocities white settlers committed against indigenous communities, as well as the numerous ways indigenous peoples resisted and continue to resist these atrocities. In Minecraft, there is no resistance, because in the ideology of the game, the player is the great man. They are the only character whose goals and desires matter. Villagers resisting would get in the way of the great man achieving their dreams and vision. The only built-in defense for villages, and thus villagers in the game, is an iron golem, which works as a weirdly apt metaphor for modern policing because it takes a ton of resources to build, is only capable of using violent force to stop a perceived bad actor, is very easy to evade if you have sufficient resources, and does nothing to help solve any problem that could be causing the violence in the village. But I digress. That's not really tied to what I'm talking about here. With all that said, villagers are still by far the most humanized characters in the game. There are roughly a dozen hostile mobs that present as humanoid and just attack the player whenever they're nearby. whenever the player is close to them. There is no in-game explanation for why they do this. As with so many things in Minecraft, the game's explanation is a concerningly eugenic one. All of these beings are the way that they are because that is their nature, and in the case of hostile mobs, they must be killed to prevent them from exerting more violence. There isn't even a in-game reason for them to kill you. They do not eat your dead body. They do not use you for some ecological purpose. They simply kill because that is what they do. In researching for this video, I found an article by Dr. Daniel Dugan, an English professor at the University of Tampa, that actually got into many of the issues I have with the game. It's a peer-reviewed article titled Digital Conquerors, Minecraft and the Apologetics of Neoliberalism, something I highly recommend you read if you like this video and are looking for more an academic lens. I'll just throw the link in the description. Dugan at one point focuses specifically in on the Creeper, a hostile mob that approaches the player and will blow up if it gets close to them. Here's what Dugan wrote. Minecraft's signature enemy, the Creeper, is resistance embodied. However, its portrayal in the game trivializes that resistance. As with the other monsters, players receive no information about its motivations. The only indication of the Creeper's agenda is its permanent scowl, which became iconic and was incorporated into the Minecraft logo as a stylized A. Whether the Creepers are unhappy about the player's encroachment is unknowable, but their violent actions against players suggest a causal connection, following worldwide resistance practices. However, the game denies legitimacy to Creeper. It is grotesquely subhuman. Although it has an expressive face, its torso lacks arms and terminates in 4 stubby legs. Whatever the Creeper's grievance may be vanishes in the face of its hostile otherness. Creepers appear as always already beyond the reach of civilized communication, and thus lacking legitimate claim to their resources. If you've played Minecraft, you know how differently the game would function if creeper spawns in the area increased every time you killed a villager, or if creeper spawns were prompted by stealing from a villager, or if stealing from a villager led the villager to become a skeleton and shoot on and attack outsiders coming into the village. These are some very small tweaks to how mobs function in the game. I don't think it would take very difficult coding to put that in, but they would give agency to the villagers by giving the players consequences for their actions. But when you look closer, you realize that consequences aren't just missing from this part of Minecraft. They're kind of missing from the entire game. I think part of what makes Minecraft so addicting is that you can almost always recreate the exact same thing. If you get killed with a bunch of diamonds and diamond items in lava, it'll take a lot of time, but you can eventually replace everything through mining for more resources. There are just a handful of things that happen in the game that cannot be undone almost immediately. Destroying glass, having an item drop in lava, or being close to an explosion. That's pretty much it. You can build a wall, a tower, a village, a stadium. You could use every resource in the game. You can even die, and while it would take a bit of time, the world is incredibly elastic. It will bounce back to changes incredibly quickly as if what was there before had never existed. A grass block becomes dirt when destroyed, but grows back fairly quickly. You can cut down all the trees, but plant new saplings and have a rich, luscious forest in no time without even using bone meal and other things the game has that can speed up that growth even more. You can kill every animal in a biome. You can kill every villager in a village, and the game will spawn more of those things to replace the previous population without the player doing anything. Minecraft has no long-term consequences built into the mechanics of the game, and I think that's part of what makes the game so appealing, but also what makes me wonder if a certain game creator thinks this is close to how the world actually works. When we think about the environmental state of Earth today, which is reeling from the past 150 years of industrialization and the subsequent pollution, waste, and overconsumption, it's easy to see where Minecraft is failing to capture the realities of the world. While you can replace trees in no time, in the game, deforestation is easily one of the most harmful things humans have done and continue to do to this day. And planting more trees does virtually nothing to make up for that damage. By the way, I'd like to give credit to a developer who created a mod to try and emulate climate change in Minecraft back in 2013. But what were the two mechanics to stop climate change in the mod? Planting trees and carbon offsets, which I don't know what I expected, but it's not a coincidence that planting trees and carbon offsets are the two solutions to climate change that work best within the mechanics of Minecraft and are two of the most appealing solutions to climate change in popular culture, even though they don't do anything, even though they don't work. They follow a simple, linear logic. We are producing too much carbon, trees absorb carbon, plant trees. It fits perfectly. If only the real world was a two-dimensional puzzle. And that, to me, is the beauty and flaw of Minecraft. It presents a world where there is always an easy, step-by-step solution. Obviously, pattern recognition and following instructions and doing all the creative things you can do with that in the game is fun, and it develops some important skills. But Minecraft downplays the role of institutions and outside social forces to such an extent that I think it takes away from the game itself. I think the main reason Minecraft has skirted analysis is simply because of aesthetics. It's low graphics, there's no blood, it presents a scenic, blocky world, and I think we are trained to focus on the politics of media most when it has explicit presentations of violence and or promiscuity. I don't think it was uncommon for parents with Christian, conservative, liberal, secular, communist, fascist beliefs. I don't think put all those things, put any combinations together, different religions, different political ideologies, I don't think it was uncommon for parents across the spectrum to prevent their children from playing games like Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto for that very reason. I think it's worth pointing out that I've heard parents talk about not allowing their kids to play violent or racy video games because of concerns about what it might inspire them to do. But while I've heard parents discuss concerns about video game addiction with Minecraft, I've never once heard a parent say they were worried about what Minecraft itself was teaching their child. But when something isn't as racy and more easily fits within social norms, powerful subliminal messages can be overlooked. And in turn, I think we find it far easier to accept something that is more normal as an accurate reflection of reality, even when that's not the case. No one thinks the world works exactly how Minecraft does. But it's a game where a shockingly large number of people, particularly children, have spent thousands of hours problem solving within the confines of the game. It is a sandbox. Here are the rules, here are the tools, and do whatever you want within that arena. It's easy to see how that will impact how people think and approach problem solving in their lives away from the game. By the way, there's a surprising number of academic papers making the case for Minecraft as a useful learning tool for children and artificial intelligences, suggesting whether it's good or bad, whether it's effective or not, it is already being used to teach. This is not a call to boycott Minecraft. If you enjoy playing the game, please keep doing it. I will. I enjoy playing the game, although I'm more partial to creative mode and even some of the mini games in the Minecraft realms that I generally do with friends. But the next time you come across a village, think about what it means that you are the character that can kill, that you are the character that can conquer, that you are the only character that can change the world and change it back. Because Minecraft is a game where anything is possible for one character and one character alone. This is normally where people plug their Patreons or something like that, but this is my first video. I'm not trying to commit myself too much. We'll see how it goes. If this does super well, I'll maybe get in a bit more of a rush, but otherwise just want to take it slowly at my own pace. So please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and comment with any thoughts or questions. Feel free to suggest topics. You can follow me on Twitter or Twitch at MadDelucci. That's MadDelucci. Be warned about Twitter, though. I am a freelance sports journalist, so you might see a surprising amount of mix of content if you're following over there from this video. For what it's worth, I think Call of Duty's explicit pro-American imperialism, like just straight up racism, Islamophobia, all the isms, frankly, really just the general propaganda within the series as well, is much more overtly problematic than any of these under-the-surface messages in Minecraft. However, I think those realities within Call of Duty have come, at least I like to think, more widely known, widely understood at this point. But I guess if you'd be interested in a retrospective deep dive into the politics of old Call of Duty games, or any game for that matter, let me know in the comments below and maybe I'll take a crack at it. Anyway, thank you for watching, especially if you've made it this far into the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. And until the next video, stay safe and have a wonderful time. See ya.